One of the most enigmatic figures in history that worked to also be one of the most influential was that of the great Serbian inventor Nikola Tesla. Though Tesla would go on to make headlines across many different news outlets for a number of breakthroughs and inventions, there have been a number of rising rumours and secrets in the modern day gathered from letters he's written to friends and investors that have led to the realisation of many hidden things about the inventor never known before. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we will be going over 5 different hidden things about the inventor that will blow your mind. Tesla's irrational phobias. Though many often regard Nikola Tesla as being an overconfident and sometimes arrogant and powerful figure throughout history, people tend to forget that the brilliant inventor was plagued with a number of irrational phobias that led to him displaying strange and sometimes impossible to predict behaviours. One of Tesla's most noticeable phobias was that of his disgust with fruit. During one of his initial investment meetings with George Westinghouse, peaches had been placed on the table in which they were dining that led Tesla to slump back into his chair and nearly collapse in fear and disgust. This quickly led to George Westinghouse shouting at the waiters to quickly take the fruits away, forming a close friendship with Tesla after Tesla remarked that by removing the fruits, he had possibly saved his life. Another incident of the inventor's strange phobias was that of an incident involving a temporarily hired secretary that sat outside one of his labs in New York. As Tesla had walked past the secretary, he began to gag and quickly ran inside his lab. Shortly after, another assistant came by to tell the secretary she must go home at the request of Tesla himself. According to Tesla, this decision had been made due to his phobias of pearls. The secretary had been wearing an elegant string of pearls around her neck that nearly caused him to become sick and fall to the floor. The Wizard of Wardenclyffe. Nikola Tesla was a man known by many names during the height of his popularity. One of these titles was that coined by reporters as the Wizard of Wardenclyffe. This name was given to Tesla after he began constructing his Tower of Wardenclyffe that would attempt to serve as one of the largest Tesla coils ever created. Given that many bedtime stories and fairy tales circled around wizards living in reclusivity in tall and lonesome towers, the title became very fitting to the inventor and was even embraced by him wholeheartedly. Additionally, this title would go on to have the inventor remembered not just as an incredibly brilliant inventor, but also that of a mystic. It was around this time that Nikola Tesla began to understand the properties of wireless electricity and so began conducting a number of experiments centered around the creation of the tower. This soon led to him using up so much electricity that he would cause the complete meltdown of generators and the electrical grid throughout the nearby town of Colorado Springs, and eventually led to a number of strange reports claiming that loud thunder strikes could be heard coming from the tower even without the existence of clouds nearby of any kind, leading many at the time to believe that Tesla was capable of an otherworldly kind of magic. It was also around this time that Nikola Tesla made a number of terrifyingly accurate predictions about the future. He would go on to predict the sinking of the Titanic, the end date of World War I, a train accident that would derail, as well as a number of other strange and accurate predictions, ultimately cementing the inventor's title as that of the Wizard of Wardenclyffe. The discovery of the ether. In history, it is often remembered that alchemists were nothing more than crazed mystics that were ostracized by the academic scholars and scientists of their time, only to later show evidence of their discoveries that would quickly be renamed and adopted by scientists as chemistry, while those going by the name of alchemy were still at the forces of ridicule. It appears that, for the special case of Nikola Tesla, the very same story applies to the inventor as well. Tesla had often been referred to as a mystic throughout his life, believing in a number of strange theories and sometimes even magical beliefs that led to him being considered an outcast by the academic community of his time, as well as being ridiculed by his professor during his time spent at a university. This ridicule would also carry over into his career, and he would often discuss, on length, the concept of the ether. The ether has often been a mythical, invisible energy that makes up the universe, referenced in old folklores and legends. Tesla would talk on length about his discoveries on the ether and making bold claims that, in the future, the ether could be tapped into and would allow people to see each other and communicate over great distances instantaneously on small telephonic devices. This led to the worsening of his ridicule, and even many claiming that Tesla had lost his mind in his older age. Interestingly enough, he would later prove to be correct on his belief of the ether, arguing that all matter is created from the ether and is nothing more than energy, wave, and frequency. Though the ether of today is referred to as the electromagnetic spectrum, the forgotten term used by Tesla and the accuracy of his mysticism still shines through in the modern day. The construction of a doomsday device. Tesla had spent the majority of his life living in hotel rooms rather than houses, and was known for racking up large debts only to pay them in large one-lump sums with the help of multimillionaires, investors, and friends. It appears, though, that there was one instance in which Tesla was unable to pay his debt and so traded with the owner of the establishment a special device impossible to understand. Owing the Governor Clinton Hotel in Manhattan a sizable debt of $10,000 at the time, the owner came to Tesla claiming that the debt must be paid in full immediately or else he would be removed from the hotel. He quickly bargained with the hotel owner that he could pay the debt with one of his most prized possessions, pointing towards a large suitcase. Tesla then explained that the suitcase contained a device capable of emitting a large death beam that would be able to take down any governments, enemies, and would be a necessary tool during the end of days. The owner, treating his words very seriously, accepted the payment and viewed himself as a protector of one of Tesla's greatest inventions to be used to one day save the world. Years later, after Tesla had passed away, an MIT scientist working for the National Defense Research Committee went to investigate this suitcase to be used by the United States government. The scientist wrote that he had spent a considerable amount of time researching the suitcase, praying to himself and reflecting on his life before opening the suitcase in fear he would perish. Once he opened the suitcase, however, he found nothing but a collection of random electrical components and garbage. The death beam was a scam. Nikola Tesla's secret assistant. One of the most interesting and peculiar stories circulating around that of Nikola Tesla is that of his nameless assistant, often referenced to and responsible for a number of iconic photographs of the inventor and his almost forgotten inventions. There have been a number of strange theories surrounding this assistant, as Nikola Tesla fails to mention him to anybody in his life, though he was a recluse. One of the first mentions of this assistant comes from Katherine Johnson, a longtime friend of Nikola Tesla and potential lover. She wrote that there had often been times in which she would journey to Tesla's lab, then located in New York, only to be told by the assistant that Tesla was busy. She remarked that things were odd about the assistant, as Tesla would disappear in his lab for a week at a time with no food or water and would emerge as if not a second had passed. Given Tesla's accurate predictions on the future, many have come to believe that this secretive assistant could have been a time traveler. As outlandish as the theory claims to be, a number of claims from Tesla himself would only help to build upon this theory. Tesla would go on to explain in intricate detail the invention of the iPhone and cellular devices. Additionally, Mark Twain, a close friend of Nikola Tesla's, would often visit the lab and talk with Tesla and the assistant. Before this point, Mark Twain had been well known for writing only outlandish and interesting tales of the then modern day. Shortly after these trips to the lab, however, Mark Twain would write and publish a book about a time traveler visiting New York with the sole purpose of attempting to bring advanced technology to the past to help with the evolution of humanity and allow science and technology to progress at a faster rate than normal. Could it be that Mark Twain had encountered this time traveler as well? Mark Twain would later go on to accurately predict the year of his own death, and Nikola Tesla would go on to be remembered as the father of the modern era, allowing for the understanding of the electromagnetic spectrum, radio communications, alternating current for the modern-day power grid, and a number of other inventions that helped to lay down the foundation for the age of information, single-handedly influencing the technology of the future at a much faster rate than ever before. But what do you all think of these strange and unexplainable mysteries surrounding the late Serbian inventor Nikola Tesla? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comment section below and help us to grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.